Do you know my name?
Holly Newton.
Who?
Holly
Newton. Where's she from?
You've been too horrible to me, and last night was after meant to kill myself. I was meant to kill myself before I went too far.
It began like any other teenage love story. Two young souls brought together through the discipline and honor of Army Cadets, Logan MacPhail and Holly Newton. In the beginning, it was innocent, hopeful, unbreakable. But when their young love shattered, something far darker took its place. One couldn't move on, obsession grew, harassment followed, and on one fateful evening, after stalking Holly for 45 minutes, as she enjoyed her first date with her new boyfriend, Logan pulled a knife and stabbed her 36 times in a dark alleyway. This is the story of how young love spiraled into one of the most brutal teen murders the United Kingdom has ever seen. In July 2021, a young romance blossomed between Holly Newton and Logan MacPhail after meeting at the Army Cadets. At first, it was everything teenage dreams are made of: tense, exciting, full of promise. But as the months passed, a darker side of Logan began to emerge. What began as subtle warning signs soon spiraled into controlling behavior that left Holly increasingly concerned for her safety. Despite her growing fears, persistent pleas from Logan pulled her back into an on and off relationship that dragged for 18 rocky months. By January 2023, Holly had made a decision, one she believed would finally set her free. Logan was toxic, controlling and dangerous, and she told him it was over for good. But Logan had no intention of letting Holly go, well, at least not alive. Logan refused to accept that Holly was truly done with him. Desperate to regain control, he bombarded her with endless messages and relentless phone calls. But this time, Holly stood firm. She stopped answering and she cut off all contact. But Logan wasn't ready to let go. When direct contact failed, he turned to those closest to her, reaching out to Holly's family and friends, begging them to convince her to take him back. Still, Holly stayed silent, and that's when Logan's obsession took a darker turn. If Holly wouldn't speak to him, then in his mind, she wouldn't speak to anyone. He hacked into her social media accounts, locking her out completely, changing her passwords, taking control and isolating her from the outside world. This wasn't love anymore, it was possession. Logan MacPhail, 16 at the time, creeped out of his home in Gateshead and boarded a bus bound for Holly Newton's hometown, Port Whistle, 40 miles away. The air was bitterly cold, the streets empty and silent, but Logan didn't care. He got off the bus and made his way to Holly's house, his mind set on one thing: seeing her. For hours he lingered outside, hidden in the shadows, watching the windows, searching for any glimpse of her. He bombarded Holly's phone with call after call, but inside, she never answered. Frustrated and desperate, Logan took it a step further. If Holly wouldn't respond, he'd find another way. He turned his attention to her family, reaching out to Holly's sibling, who lived under the same roof, pulling them into his obsession. Listen to this.
Open up your back window. She doesn't have to see me. Come on, open up your window and I will climb in right now. Just hoy your key down and I will sneak in.
Holly's sibling refused to let Logan inside. Meanwhile, back at Logan's home, his family had begun to panic, realizing that he was missing. They contacted the police to report him as a missing person. Officers quickly located Logan wandering the streets near Holly's house in a freezing night. When questioned, he gave a simple excuse. He claimed he was just there to collect a games console he had left behind. Taking him at his word, the police drove Logan back home, but what they didn't realize was that Logan's obsession was only getting more evil. Holly's mother, Michaela Trussler, had reached her breaking point. After sending her children off to school that morning, she made the decision to act, contacting the police to formally report Logan's disturbing behavior after his uninvited visit to their home. The police responded by scheduling an appointment at 4 p.m. the very same day. Wanting Holly to be aware, Michaela called her daughter while she was still at school to inform her. But Holly had already made plans for the afternoon, and she pleaded with her mother to postpone the meeting. Reluctantly, Michaela agreed, rescheduling the police appointment, a choice that, in the hours to come, would become the most devastating decision of her life. Later that day, Logan MacPhail made his move. He walked out of school early. He boarded a bus traveling nearly 20 miles, headed straight for Holly's area. Logan wasn't rushing. He was waiting. He knew Holly's routine. The time she would leave school and the path she would usually take to get home. All he had to do now was to wait for the perfect moment. That afternoon, Holly Newton left school, her heart heavy with anxiety. After Logan's unexpected visit to her home, she couldn't shake the fear that he might be waiting for her outside the gates. But as she looked around, there was no sign of him. Relieved, Holly carried on with her plans. She met up with her new boyfriend, Adam Lawson, and together they headed into Hexham town centre. For a while the weight lifted. They wandered through the shops, laughing, enjoying each other's company, two teenagers just trying to live a normal day. Eventually they decided to grab a pizza, completely unaware of the danger that was silently closing in around them. Outside the pizza shop, Holly found a seat at a nearby bus stop, before Alan stepped inside to place their order. For a moment everything seemed normal, until out of nowhere, Logan MacPhail appeared. Adam Lawson had seen Logan arrive. Worried, he came and stood beside Holly as Logan approached. But Logan appeared calm. There was no shouting, no aggression, just a quiet request to speak with Holly in private. Believing it might help bring some closure and sensing no immediate danger, Alan turned and walked back into the pizza shop. But what they didn't know was that Logan had been stalking them the entire time. After leaving school early, carefully tracking her every move, surveillance cameras captured him pulling a face mask over his mouth as he left the bus, a sneaky attempt to conceal his identity in case Holly spotted him. He was later seen lurking in a nearby supermarket car park, moving suspiciously, hiding behind trolley shelters, buildings and parked cars, always trying to keep out of sight. Hidden on him was a knife, a weapon he had been carrying for at least a week, waiting for the right moment. Now he had found it. When Logan appeared outside the pizza shop, he tried to play it off, acting as if their encounter was nothing more than a coincidence. But it was anything but. Just steps away from the shop was a narrow shadowed alleyway. Logan pleaded with Holly to speak with him in private in the alley, pulling at her emotions, begging for just a few minutes of her time. Holly was visibly reluctant, hesitant to go, every instinct telling her to stay away, but eventually, perhaps out of fear, guilt, or simply to avoid a scene, she agreed. Together they disappeared down the alley and into the darkness. In that moment, without warning, Logan pulled out the knife and launched into a frenzied attack. Screams tore through the narrow alleyway, piercing the quiet evening air. Hearing the chaos, Adam Lawson, Holly's new boyfriend, raced around the corner, only to be met with a scene of horror. At first he didn't understand. He thought Logan was simply attacking Holly with his fists. Alan rushed in, grabbing Logan and pulling him into a headlock, but then he felt it. The warm, sickening sensation of blood running down his body. Logan had stabbed Alan 4 times, slashing at his leg and shoulder. But Holly was in far greater danger. Throughout it all, Logan kept attacking Holly relentlessly. She fought with every ounce of her strength, trying desperately to defend herself. But each attempt was met with another violent stab, another savage slash. Holly Newton was barely clinging to life. In the space of just 1 minute, Logan had inflicted a total of 36 wounds, 12 stab wounds, 19 slash wounds, and 5 defensive injuries, where she had tried in vain to shield herself. The paramedics who arrived found multiple wounds that each on their own could have been fatal. She had been stabbed in the face, neck, and chest. Each strike, a brutal confirmation of Logan's single devastating intent to unalive her. After the brutal attack, Logan MacPhail didn't get far. Members of the public, horrified by what they had witnessed, acted quickly, detaining him on the scene. They held him there until police arrived. Moments later, Logan was arrested. Check it out.
Right, put your hands behind your back. Right, you're under arrest on suspicion of an assault. You do not have to say anything with me on your defence if you do not mention when questioned something that you later rely on in court. Anything you do say may be given in evidence. Stand. Yeah? Stand now. Where? In the alleyway.
By the way, do you want my card on the floor? Right there on the floor.
Have you got anything in your pockets?
My phone.
What's your name?
Logan MacPhail.
Logan.
Logan Shane MacPhail.
Who's the last? Do you know her name?
Holly Newton.
Who?
Holly
Newton. Where's she from?
She's been too horrible to me, and last night we documented me kill myself. I was meant to be myself before I went too far.
What's your date of birth? You don't know. Stop being clever, right? You know how much bother you're in. What's your date of birth?
Can't read or write.
Right. But you know what your day of birthday is?
No, I don't.
Huh?
I know nothing.
You don't know anything? You don't know what day your birthday is? How old are you?
16.
16. Where are you from? Where'd you live? Where'd you live?
Logan MacPhail was sentenced to life in prison, but with a minimum term of just 17 years. A sentence the nation felt fell short of the horror he had inflicted. Alan Lawson, who had also been stabbed during the attack, survived. After spending several days in hospital recovering from his injuries, he was able to leave, carrying the emotional and physical scars of that night with him forever. Holly Newton was just 15 years old, full of life, laughter, and dreams. Her story should have been one of growth, not of grief. Instead, it became a harrowing testament to how young love can turn dangerously toxic and obsession replaces respect. This is more than a story of a life taken. It's a call to recognize the warning signs of coercive control, to listen when victims speak, and to act before it's too late. Holly's voice was stolen, but her story must be heard. Thanks for watching another episode of Crime Lab. Check out the link in the description for help, further resources. If you haven't already, don't forget to like and subscribe. It's totally free. It keeps you up to date with all my latest videos. Until then, take care, stay safe, and I'll catch you in the next one.